Hello guys. So last lecture we have seen how to pass the parameters from to the Azure functions. So this lectures we will see how to pass the models instead of passing the parameters one by one parameters. So we will pass the bunch of data in a JSON format from the client applications, and that model data will be accept inside the Azure functions. So today's lecture we will see uh, how to pass the model to the Azure functions. So this API I have created for the query parameters. So I will create another API for the model passing mechanisms. Okay. So this is my another API. I will change the API name called as add employee. Okay. So if I want to pass the some data like a name, address, and the mobile numbers. So this is my post API. So I will change the here the post API post also, and plus I will change the routing mechanisms. So here, and I will remove these query parameters. So this that whatever we are passing the data like model data, it should be accept inside the this HTTP request data. If I am going to that definitions, so here we are returning a data in a JSON format or the string format. Okay, so see here the like a stream as a body or the remaining methods. Okay, so now this is my, I will remove these lines. I will keep this line as of now, or I also remove this line. So this is the like add employee, and we need to pass some data like a name, address, and a mobile. And here we are to do activities like some employee data. First this is our basic API we have done. So we are putting the API name called as a add employee, and the API type it should be like a post, and we have defined like a sample demo and the add employee, and we are accepting the model data inside the HTTP request data object. Now I will create a simple folder called as a model. Okay, here I will create one simple class called as a employee model. Okay, so it's a basic class. By default in 2022, by default class access specifier as a coming as a internal. So I will change as a public because I need to access outside. Now I will create a three simple properties. mm, like a public string name get and a set. Okay, another property public string address get set, public string mobile get and a set. Okay, so I have created this basic employee models, and I need to use this namespace inside the function one applications. Okay, so I will add this namespace here using sample demo dot models. Now we are saying here inside the HTTP request data, like whatever we are passing the model from the client applications, so it should be accept the values inside this object. Now question here is how to read this HTTP request data in our employee model. So first line I will be create here as a var body string, you can consider as a body string. So I will put here like a request. So request is our object models. This is the object of the HTTP request data. So request dot read as a string as a JSONs async. Okay, so and I will put as a result. sorry, this is the function dot result. So like whatever passing the data from client application, it should be coming inside this body string data mechanisms. Now we need to format this data as per our employee models. Now I will create another variable where data is equal to JSON converter. So it should be JSON convert dot JSON convert dot deserialize JSON. I don't know. We need to insert JSON convert dot deserialize the object as a mapping tables, and I will put here the employee models, and I will read this body string. Okay. So this is the body string I have returning assigning to that particular object, and I will return this. So here you can pass the like a to do called uh, save employee service, and you need to pass this data object. So inside this data, we are assigning the data like whatever the input data is. Okay. So now for the time being, I will putting here. I have not ready to the app service. I will return the data same at is same like whatever passing the input. I will return to the client applications. Okay. Now here I will call as a response dot write JSON as a sync, and I will pass as a data and HTTP status code. Okay. Okay. So for the time being, I will return the data whatever. Right as a JSON data. Okay, it should be converted to the JSON format, and it should be returned to the client applications. But here, like you have to save the data as per the debugger points. Now we have created some model, and we have written one API, and that API is storing the data to the database. Okay, so how this is the way we can pass the model, and we can read that model data from the HTTP request data object. So this is the basic syntax in the inside the Azure function. So first we will read data as a string format, and we are storing in the one variable, and that variable we are converting to the our serialized deserialized to the our models. Now our API has done. Now I will create a new request here in Postman's. Okay. Hope, yeah, Postman's already here. So now I will create another request here, a new request, and request name is like add employee. Okay, and type it should be post because we are passing the data. So here also we need to change the type as a code as a post. That's why we need to pass the from the postman also we need to pass the post. How we can create the body, how we can pass the body. So here I will pass the three parameters called as a name, sorry, then Saurabh, then sorry, mobile, then address. Okay, so we have create this suggestion model to this APIs. Now we have client application is also ready to pass the JSON models. Now I will run the applications, and I have already put the debugger point, so you can understand how it's a mapping the JSON model and to the HTTP request data, and how we can read the model from that HTTP request. Okay, so now we will run the application. So it's compiling the application and it's starting the Azure emulators. So I will open the Azure emulator screen. So these are the three endpoints, like three APIs we have written. This is the get name API for the first lectures for the basic introduction, and this is the second API we have written for the query parameters, get employee names, and now we are creating a third API called as a add employee to test the how to pass the data as a models to the Azure functions. Now I will here, like you see, API type is called as a post, and the remaining two API called as a get APIs. And here is the function of the names, add employee. Now I will copy this URL, okay, and I will put here inside this postman request. Now we have ready to hit that APIs. Now in postman we have created type as a post. We are putting the add employee. We are passing the data inside the body like in JSON format called as a name, mobile address. So we have set the debugger point also here. Now I will run the API from the postmans. Now it's sending the request to the client to the servers. Now this request is inside to the add employee functions. See here, if you see, we are just simply like putting the HTTP request. If you see here the request, we have the body, cookies, function contacts. How we can use the function contacts? We will use the letters. If you are passing the some claims information, token information from client application to the server application, and if you read some claims information like a login ID, some, so that time we are using the function context. So headers also we are using the letters. Now we are see concentrate on the body. So here we are creating a log mechanism. So next line we'll be creating a response object, and see here the inside the result object, like a body object, we are coming like a JSON data. If you see here in the JSON visualization, so like a name is a Saurabh, mobile is a this number like 9096747776, and the address is a Pune. Okay, now we have getting the this JSON data. We are reading the data from the this HTTP request data object. Now our next target is like we map this data to our employee models. How we can map? We need to convert this JSON convert. This JSON convert, we are using the this library, like using newtonsoft.json library. So like here we have deserialized object and we are assigning the data to the data object. If you see here data like address, mobile name, it's a map to the our employee models. You can see here, you can put the data annotation also. We will see next lectures how to validate the data, how to use the data annotation in Azure functions or the models. Okay. So here we are calling the data. Now, if you have ready the app service call, so you can call this app service call to pass this data to the to storing the database object. Okay. For time being, I will return the same data to the postmans. Okay, so it should be written in the JSON format. So you can see the response of this API called as like a name, address, mobile, and the status code called as it 200. Why this response is coming? Because like we are returning the response same like whatever we are mapping the request data to the response data. That's why it's written the same data. So basic this lecture agenda is like how to read model data and it's convert to that to map to our our models. So these are the two lines of codes to mapping the models and reading the models data from the Azure functions. Okay, understand? So now I will summary of that application, this API. So we are creating add employee API, and we are reading the model data from the HTTP request data. So initially we are using the reading the data from the result, and we are storing the one variables, and that variables we are deserialize using the JSON convert and map to the employee models, and this data you can pass to the your DB object, DB app service call, or you can just return the same data. So these are the Azure emulator screens. These are the your response. These are the your API client applications like post and pass the data, and you have passed the JSON data. So you are understand now how to pass the model and to the just Azure function. And once we have received Azure functions, how to read that model data, and you can manipulate that after reading the data to the storing the database. So these are the simple lines of codes to map the models. So thank you guys.